In the last video of this tutorial series, we took a look at how we can display some visual feedback to the user when they answer a question. And in this video, we're going to do the same thing, but for image-based questions, which we haven't handled yet. So when we're on text-based questions, we can click and we get some nice user feedback, and then continue. But when we're on image-based, we can click on any of these images, and we don't get any feedback, and the progress bar doesn't get updated. So we will hop back into our HTML, and we will scroll down to the row where we handle the images. Now, just like we did up here, where we added ng class and ng click onto the answer, we'll also do it here on our image div. So we'll add in an ng class, and we'll set that equal to an object, and the first we will give image selected, and that's our own custom class, which we will style in a second. And again, we use this same index equals quiz.data service .quiz questions quiz.active question .selected, and then we'll add in the ng click, and that will be quiz.selected or .select answer, sorry, just like the one above. And we'll pass an index again, and we'll save that. So now we need to go into our CSS and create the rules for this image selected class, and we'll just give it a border, and we'll make it 3 pixels solid, and we'll make it 56 AFDC, which is a nice blue color. Okay, and then we'll close out the CSS, and now we can go back into our quiz, start the quiz, select a text answer, and then we've got an image answer. We can select it. Now we've got this nice blue border around the outside, and our progress has been updated. And we can go to here, and again, same story. Now the next thing we need to tackle is when we click on any of these, it doesn't take us to this corresponding question. So that's an issue that we need to fix. So if we scroll up to the area where these buttons are, we have each button here. So we can add an ng click on here. ng click equals quiz dot, and we'll use set active question, which is a function that we've already created, which is this function here, set active question. But the problem is that this current implementation of set active question simply loops through and finds the next available unanswered question. So if we're on the first question and we call this function, it will simply move to the next unanswered question, which might be the second question. So if we save our HTML and come back into the quiz, we can start, and we're on the first question, but if we click over here, it just increments to question 2, and we can click on the last question and it just increments to question 3. And that's not what we want. So what we're going to do is slightly modify this change set active question to allow it to be given an index. And if we do pass in an index, then it won't bother looping. It will just instantly set the active question to whatever that index is. And if we don't give it an index, then it will do the looping. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a conditional that says if index equals undefined, that's when we want to do all of this logic. So I'll take that and I will paste it in there. So now if index is undefined, which means we haven't passed in anything as that argument, then this code will run, which will be fine for when we call like set active question down here and we don't pass in anything. That means the index will be undefined and it will just run the same code it's always ran. But then we can give it an else, and then we can just say vm.active question equals index. So we don't need to loop, it will just instantly set the active question to whatever was passed into this set active question function. So we can save, and then we can come back into here, and then here where we call set active question, we can pass in $index, because we're inside a ng repeat, so $index exists, so we can pass that in, and that will be the index of the current button we're clicking. So we can save, come back into our quiz, and now we're on question 1, and we click the final question, and it skips to question 10. And then we click the second question, skips back. So now we can answer that and answer this, and then decide we want to go back to question 1. Click that, and it takes us back to question 1. And then we can continue, and it's going to skip these 2 answered questions up to question 4. So we're looking good. So in the next video, what we're going to do is add in some basic error handling and finalize our quiz controller. For those of you that haven't checked out my website yet, I do a full article write-up for every single video that I put out on YouTube, and that will include code snippets and other little things that will help you along. The link to the write-up for the current video is on the bottom left of the screen. And if you just want to continue watching this video series, then just click the link in the center of the screen and we'll get started with the next video.